Welcome to Stormwatch by Gray Noise Intelligence. Each week, we cover the latest info on what's happening at Gray Noise, Census, Vulncheck, and Run Zero, and we can't fit any more companies on this thing. Take a look at a roundup of important and timely cybersecurity topics, toss out some expert opinions, and drop the occasional conspiracy theory. We have an ambitious show today, so many topics to cover. So let's kick things off by calling y'all out for not exactly being truthful to us at our most recent poll on voice assistants, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. I'm just making an assumption, but I think y'all are lying. Have we spent the past couple weeks praising certain parts of the cybersecurity media, and today we're going to show you to show you who to trust for them. A lot of outlets fell short this past week, and we're going to show you why. There was a vendor that did a really poorly sourced art blog, and a whole bunch of places fell for it. And we actually think the blog may have been AI written, but we will get into that. After that, the impetus for our poll is that this Friday, if you have an Echo or Alexa or whatever they're called, because we don't own them, Amazon starts hoovering up everything you say in your home office. If you have one of those devices in earshot, what could possibly go wrong? Maybe nothing, actually. And then we briefly pay homage yet again to our heroes over at Watchtower, another epic blog post. They found yet another Veeam RCE. I mean, it's authenticated, but we're still going to mention it briefly. And we're going to briefly mention the Tomcat put request RCE as well. And then lastly, we earn our paychecks because we're going to check in with all of our respective benevolent overlords. But before we get into the show, and before I do a vibe check, I'm going to call it vibe check from now on. I didn't tell you guys that. With all of the crew, so Emily is working actually because you could earn a paycheck, but Hemage's not here because we sent her on a mission when we found out what, like, I think everyone might be aware of an event that happened yesterday, from the Atlantic. So Hemage, since she's in New York, we actually asked her if she would go and try to find Jeffrey Goldberg to see if we could get him on the show. And lo and behold, she actually did. So today, everybody, Jeffrey Goldberg is most certainly here on the show and joining the Stormwatch crew today. Welcome, Jeffrey. Much like the Signal chat, he's probably not going to say a whole lot. So, like, I guess we'll see about that.
He may just drop out 2/3 of the way through. I don't know.
He may indeed actually just ruin the support. Thanks, Glenn. You're just really helpful. All right, so, all right, we're going to start with you first. Then vibe check, Glenn. Good, bad stuff you got to report?
I didn't mean to stomp on your bit. Vibe check. Vibes are good. You know what? I think I said it before. Looking for joy where we can find it right now. And there was an incredible sunrise this morning. I should share the picture. But it was a nice surprise. Look out the window and see all the like cotton candy color sunrise. So that was nice. So
I like that.
I'm gonna just take the win right away.
That's very, very wholesome, very like nature oriented. I like
wholesome.
that a lot.
What else do you? I am wholesome.
All right then.
Crickets, got it.
We're going. I'm moving along. I'm not even gonna linger on that one. Todd, welcome and vibe check for you, sir.
Hi, Bob. I'm vibing and keeping it tight. It is great to be me this week. So, yeah, I mean, like as you know, I'm now at Run Zero. I think I'm no longer the new guy. I think there's like 2 or 3 new hires after me. So I've lost my new guy status. And just been working and had a lovely evening last night with my wife. Just chilling out. We started chilling at about 8 o'clock because we'll get to it at the end of the show of what I was up to yesterday.
I am.
We
might be a new article coming out of this. Jeffrey, stick around.
Life guy.
No, it's been a few days. It's like we've been able to like just kind of hang out and be chill, and the kids are out right now, and it was a great evening.
I feel like this is the moment.
And I watched some old Star Trek yesterday too. Go ahead,
I didn't realize you have a wife and children.
What? That's shocking.
I believe one of your children's going to be like next year. I believe one of your children's going to be like within driving distance for me too.
That's right. We got a kid going to school in Boston. So
very cool. Very cool. All right, Kimber, vibe check for you. How's it going?
You know, somebody just posted in Slack the starts drinking emote. I think this starting off a Tuesday with the Ingress Nightmare. Can I just say my vibes are, why do we have to put names on things? That's my vibes right now. My vibes are disappointment, shame, exhaustion. I'm going to take the negatives today because Ingress Nightmare. Also, the fire alarm just started going off in my building. So we're going to see if that stops or keeps going. I might disappear.
We don't hear it, which is interesting.
Thank goodness.
But if we see smoke behind you, we'll let you know.
You probably should just maybe like you. Wow. Okay. Well,
I live in an apartment building. This happens all the time. Real apartment dwellers know the fire alarm just randomly goes off.
Okay.
All right, well.
Overwatch. How vibe check for the Overwatch? How's it going, Ashley? Vibes are good. Nothing new to report. Okay. All right. Fair.
I feel like we're there's a bit of a ostrich, flamingo, whatever, head in the sand situation. Like we're just kind of like.
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Do you think flamingos put their heads in the sand?
I can't remember which. It's a long necked bird. Puts its head under the sand. One of them. A stork. Which one does it?
It's ostriches.
Okay, thank you.
Big bird is just a big bird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, any bird can put their head in the sand if they.
Yeah, if they put their back into it.
And we're off.
I've got mixed vibes because we had to send number 4 back to college over the weekend. He was here back last week on break, but I got to make a couple batches of chocolate chip cookies for him to take back with him, and it was a good baking weekend and cooking weekend. So I think my vibes, despite yesterday, I think my vibes are pretty good today.
I guess I'm going to go see if the building isn't burning down. So
yeah, you should do that.
Have
Yeah,
a great
I'm very
show,
concerned.
Friends.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Well,
man.
maybe we'll hear more from Kimber later.
I hope so.
I mean, if we need to, I can ask Jeff to speak with us if we want, but that's all right. Then we'll go up. All right. So everybody, we do have a podcast. Please go here and do the thing for Ashley, the like and subscribe and all the things. It does help us, measure things as well as know that you guys care about us as well. And we're just briefly going to mention this. Everyone can chime in if you want to, but if you don't know by now, the Have I Been Pwned site has itself been pwned. Troy got a good phishing email, a very, very good phishing email. This can happen to anybody. It has happened to other very smart people. It's happened to security professionals. It happens all the time, everywhere. Unfortunately, this got his mailing list for Have I Been Pwned. So the irony is just pretty cool. And I have suggested on social media
Spider-Man meme situation
that he should add -yes to the title of the site, because that would be epic and hilarious, because just whatever. But anybody have any thoughts on this before because I'm just making sure no one throws shade for this. There's no shade to be thrown here. This is the thing. Just watch your emails, because some people could be posing as him because they downloaded all of your addresses if you were there.
I mean, as if there's already not enough recycled pwned list. This is literally the full list. So
yeah,
shrug emoji.
Yeah, and
yeah.
props. Sorry, and just props to him for being on this early. I actually saw the blog post come out. I was couldn't sleep last night. I saw the blog post hit.
Were you watching the live updates? It just was drafting, publish, draft, publish, draft, publish, and it is shocking, right? That it only took 34 minutes, I think, from the initial fish for him to get a post up about it. Which is I think that's pretty so when a professional security person gets popped this way, which this is not the first, nor will it be the last, they tend to realize pretty quick. It's a good read, because it's he gets popped. He's like, oh dang, I think I just got popped. And then he goes to log in, and his stuff has already been exported with a new API key, so it's all super automated. So the window to react is zero effectively, right? Like there's no reaction time. And yeah, I'm with you. Like, good on you, Troy, for like being open and honest about it and saying like, look, I got me too. And I remember last year when Cory Doctorow, noted cyberpunk young adult fiction writer and rabble rouser Cory Doctorow got owned like while traveling, and he got like a text from his bank, and he's like, oh yeah, sure, and he like replied, he's like, oh no, that was terrible. So almost the same story. So like once a year, some security yachty, some infosec luminary needs to get owned, I think. Just to remind us that everyone gets owned.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say too is when you're traveling, I hate using tiny glowing rectangles. I absolutely despise it. Part of it's because I'm old, whatever, but it's a terrible interface to anything. I think it's actually degrading over time. It is very difficult to spot phishing messages on mobile devices. I'm sorry. It is extraordinarily difficult, and it's easy to fall into this because he has to care about the mailing list. So yeah, everybody, no shade. Check, just if you are on this email list, just make sure you're not going to get scammed by somebody else, and just be extra careful out there. It looks like you are back, Kimber. Hold on, like Kimber, you're safe. Like there is no fire.
There is no fire. Surprise, surprise.
Okay, good.
So I haven't had a chance to look at this story yet, but it looks like on the screen, like MailChimp, that like, is this how he learned of it? Was a notification from a login?
No, I believe this is the actual phishing message.
Oh, okay.
It's that's how. See, you were fooled. That not in a bad way. Like it's really good. They're really really
that's
good.
common. I was just curious because I was going to give props to MailChimp if they had a system in place also that flagged it. So, but again, I haven't read the article yet.
The one thing I will also say is like he self-admitted he should have figured it out the minute that he didn't get a pop-up to fill in the password from his password manager.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's highlight that, because that's actually a really good like side effect of password managers, where since they are tied to a URL, usually an HTTPS URL, they will pop up to do so. So if you're used to seeing that and it doesn't, that is a red flag. So that's a good call out. I don't think a lot of people realize of kind of the accidental anti-phishing protection that comes from just using a password manager.
One of the fun facts about this is the phishing URL for some of this MailChimp stuff was used like 3 years ago. And so what's old is new again.
Round and round we go.
I hadn't planned on covering this. I have no URL for it, but since we're saying nice things about things, this week, or it was last week, or it started this week, Cloudflare no longer, and like I hate saying nice stuff about Cloudflare, but whatever, they now no longer allow HTTP sessions to their API endpoints. It has to all be first of all, like, wow, that was a thing. But it is now HTTPS only to all their API stuff, which is like, I wish if other people aren't doing that, you should do that. Like, it's not even doing the upgrade. Like, you have to actually initiate it over HTTPS. And I think that's a really cool practice they're doing. So good on them for also helping things be more secure as well. All right. So y'all lied to us. I'm sorry. You all lied to us, because Jordan went out there on the socials and even on the internals. I'm even like showing you some inside baseball. And it's like, hey, at least, hey, we were honest internally. Whoever did bother answering the survey internally, unlike all of you out there. And we asked, hey, what virtual assistant do you use in light of the segment we're doing today? So Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant, and none, because I don't trust them. And you all did the survey thing where you said what you think you should have said and what you should be doing instead of actually doing it, because y'all use something. I'm sorry. So everybody else proved, and you can look at the results on here, but they're all like, I don't trust them. I don't use them. I'm perfect. Look how great I am. So tell me I'm wrong, crew. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think you're right. Like, this is one of those questions, right? Like, it's incredibly difficult to do polling on things like this because you know what the right answer is, especially if you're talking to InfoSec people, right? It's like, oh, I don't use them. Hey Siri, answer the poll and say I don't use Siri. Like this is what it, and there are other questions like this. It's like do you ever use public Wi-Fi? If you ever put that out as a survey question in an info security context, like 50% of your answers are no, I don't use public Wi-Fi. Why would I? That's insecure and dangerous. When of course A isn't, and B, everyone does it.
I take umbrage with this statement.
Uh-huh.
Because while I don't use them, I only ask Siri as like a silly bit, just to see like what does the robot say. However, my partner has Google, Apple Siris are all over the house.
HomePods.
Yeah, the HomePods are all over the house.
Mhm.
So while I don't use it, in order to interact with the house, I have to use it. And I hate that. I hate it so much. I don't want a smart house. But so I don't use them or trust them. However,
I don't think it counts if they're living with you.
I'm subjected to them.
Valid. I answered honestly. I'm a SIRI person. See, I can't even say it.
Hey Siri.
It's you pick the least of the evils, right? And where you put the most trust, and that's where I put the most trust. But yeah, I was surprised. Like, there's definitely a lot of people, even if you use it just for, hey, set a timer, it doesn't mean that you're actually asking it for the meaning of life or to tell you a joke. But if it's listening in any way, then you're using it, right? Like, that's kind of the point of the story we're about to get to, is if it's actively listening.
The one thing that I think about a lot with this is actually how many people have them for their kids. Like the amount of people I know who have an Alexa in the kid's bedroom is a really,
because they have like a kids mode or something that you can.
Yeah, and kids love talking.
Really raises questions.
Yes, it like tells bedtime stories and stuff.
Yeah. So with that, there's this. This isn't a sales pitch. I'm just because like the grandkids do not have Echoes or whatever in there, but I got them these little Yodo players. There's no mic. It's just a player. It's like an old school MP3 player that's just kid safe, and they have control over like the ability to play things. I can record audio from read books or whatever. So you don't have to have like that something connected to the internet to play music for your kids and give them some control over stuff either, guys. You can like do that. It's fine. But y'all lied to us. I'm not happy about that. So next time, be honest.
Yeah, someone who's I guess like has stuff in common with Kimber's partner. I've oversmarted my house to where sometimes it creates some interesting. Is it a ghost or is it bad automation conversations? Which I'm here for. It's fine. So far, not ghosts, which is disappointing. Thought I had a ghost for a while.
It was just Siri getting spicy.
It was me with a bad link in automation that made one thing. When I turn my fireplace on, something else would always turn on, and it was very confusing to troubleshoot.
Oh my god, you have a Home Assistant automated fireplace? No.
Oh yes. There's multiple steps. There's some RF in there.
What's wrong?
Yeah. Oh, it has a timeout. I did put a timeout on it, like 1 hour 59 minutes.
Perfect.
Kimber, he can voice steer his pool robot. I mean, come on, seriously, this is who he is.
We live in the future.
Yeah, I have a problem. This is how I get taken down.
Not much longer. Not at the rate we're going. Not much longer. Nope. All right, so we're gonna get to
the context of why we asked that poll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning I mentioned it. In the beginning of the poll, oh yeah, you weren't there for it. In the beginning of the poll, I mentioned we're going to cover it in a little bit, because we're gonna because everyone's screwed at the end of the week.
Cool. All right.
So
I've decided to go with bad order today. Got it.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because I want the people that joined early to get to the good stuff before we go to the tail end stuff. So anyway, came across this really, really odd blog from Verity. I'm really not trying to be mean to them on here, but I would do a show of hands, but just give me like this was AI, completely AI written, please, right, guys? This was completely AI written. 99%, 90% AI written. Yeah, everyone's like,
It's definitely
there you go.
written.
And what this is, it's got a great headline. OpenAI under attack. CVE 202427564 actively exploited in the wild. And they make it a point of like going, like they apparently went and did a Shodan or whatever search on stuff. I'm not, because I don't think they're smart enough to use census. And they found all these instances of like OpenAI deployed everywhere, which isn't a thing. And they have graphs and stuff and key findings with like big maps and all these kind of things on here. It's all these vulnerabilities that they have, like the defanged IP. They got this is like the quintessential like cybersecurity vendor blog.
Mhm.
And what's really cool about this blog is that a whole bunch of news organizations picked up the thing, like we kind of thought they would. Like, so we kind of had this on our radar before the news picked up on it. The news picked up on it. Every single rag that you would read is reading them, and they did it, and they blogged about it. Actively exploited ChatGPT bug puts organizations at risk. ChatGPT tool vulnerability exploited against U.S. government organizations. OpenAI under attack. Hackers exploit unpatched ChatGPT bug, and it's not. So what probably happened is this, and I'm going to the GitHub page where that's linked to all these things. And it's actually like they mentioned like the user Dirk1983 and all of the things. So like, how is that ChatGPT and OpenAI? And if you go to the page, it's all in Chinese, and the word ChatGPT sticks out everywhere though. So pretty much every lazy reporter saw, oh, yep, I go to GitHub, it says ChatGPT, it's ChatGPT, I'm gonna go do that thing. And then when you bother to just put it into translate, I tried Kagi Translate, it did not work. I sent feedback to them, so I downgraded to Google Translate. And this is like a PHP little API thing they made that uses the ChatGPT API, and that's what it says throughout this whole thing on there. So I want to bring this down, and like this is like just journalistic malfeasance, folks. This is terrible. I mean, it's blogger malfeasance as well, and it's AI cruft and slop being thrown out there as a blog. And on top of that, it's just there's no hope this year. That's my thing. There's zero hope this year. This is terrible.
So I will say though, this weird China proxy ChatGPT, there are about 240 online if you check census, which I mean, they're using it. It's out there. It's developed. Like it's a thing. So there is a vulnerability on a thing, but it's not ChatGPT itself, which I think is where a lot of the confusion lies. Like, if there were to be a vulnerability on ChatGPT itself, what would that actually like look like? The OpenAI stuff, like, so I think there was a lot of confusion here. A lot.
ChatGPT is the equivalent of if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
For pub, or I guess AI in general is.
Yep.
So no surprise there, but it is funny as you read through those like 5 stories that you had up, like the OG is it's giving AI, factual or not, unclear. And then the recycled AI of the AI reporting on the AI when the root of all of it is not accurate.
Dead internet theory.
Yeah, just how many different ingredients can we stir into this paella before it's just absolutely terrible? Is just kind of basically how that turned out.
So what I did is I asked because every single one of these AI things is now connected to the internet. Even Claude is connected to the internet now. I asked 4 of them to tell me about this CVE, and they all just pulled info from that horrible vendor blog and gave me completely non-factual information about this thing. None of them debunked it. None of them even, because they can't, like, that's not what they do. Like, they literally are just running, like, they iterate over probabilities over a text corpus. That's all they do. Like, they're not intelligent. They're just there. And this is where like slop is bad on its own. Cybersecurity slop is super dangerous. At least, I mean, maybe this wasn't one as dangerous, but this misinformation could be bad depending on the kinds of vulnerabilities that come out later this year and how many more people decide to emulate this terrible behavior.
Yeah, I mean, Grey Noise did see that really interesting rise in the SSRF like things just hitting the internet in general. So,
And this was a SSRF
yeah.
CVE, so yeah.
Yeah. So getting the ground truth of things, now we're going to have to check the first source of where like things actually came from. I think that was one of the other things that I was trying to figure out about this is like, okay, who put this out here and how do they have that information? Like we have to walk through all of the kind of science first principles sort of things. Like, can we answer all of the questions?
I mean, I hope people are checking their AI sources when they use AI, right? Like people aren't just doing it blindly, right?
I mean, we talked about this, I think, last week, right? Like
Yeah, I know.
AI assist, LLM, AI is not real. LLM assist is, it's super useful if you are an expert in the field that you're asking it about, because it can like kind of point you in a way, and maybe every once in a while it'll tell you something surprising that then you go look and check, right? And like that's the responsible way to use LLM stuff. The irresponsible way is to say, "Hey Siri, tell me all about today's AI vulnerabilities." This pops up. Cool. Siri, hey Claude, write me a article for my job and publish it. You know, like that's the thing, because like this whole the reporting on it was definitely like a reporting failure, right? Because nobody checked the source.
Yeah.
Like my first when I saw it, because like somebody asked me about it and said like, "Hey, is this real?" I'm like,
Right.
check. No, probably fake, but if not fake, like very limited, you know, scope, right? Because I went to the GitHub thing, I saw that it was there. I know that there's been a rise in fake GitHub POCs.
Oh yes.
Concept code for like proving that an exploit is real. Like there's fake
Send
ones.
Bitcoin.
There's a lot of them. And so like that's the filter I hit first, right? Is it fake or not? And then this one was like probably fake, probably fake. Oh no, wait, it's real. Oh, it's this one guy's thing. So it's not all of OpenAI.
Well, I think the other crappy thing about all of this is that it actually affects like the EPSS, the note that they put in the bottom of the article, updated on the 20th, is that the EPSS score changed. So the probability of it being attacked is up, which is true, but that's a misnomer in a lot of ways, because if you use OpenAI stuff in your environment, if you use ChatGPT in your environment, it's not actually affected. And like the CPE denotes that, and the products affected denotes that it's this specific Dirk 1983. How did it get assigned to CVE? Are we just assigning CVEs on random
to users?
Like
somebody had to ask for it.
Who's the CNA on this?
Well, I mean, like at least the CVE got assigned to this, unlike Microsoft and a bunch of other big corporations that don't bother anymore because the CVE program is fundamentally broken. Anyway, Todd, I can't wait for an episode where Todd and I do that. Anyway,
basically treat AI answers like your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving, and like listen and then verify. That's the takeaway.
So yeah. So the two things I wanted to
in an article, do some fact checking.
The CVE would have immediately told everybody. So you guys are there. The CVE would have immediately told you this wasn't ChatGPT. The other thing I just want to throw out there is like, what if OpenAI was a public company right now? What could this, because I mean, these are like the four news, like there's a few others, but these are four of the major news outlets for cybersecurity news. People watch those things. What would this have done even temporarily to the share price of OpenAI?
No one is looking at the stock market right now, Bob. It wouldn't matter.
Numbers do go down.
Yes, they do.
Those numbers going way down.
Oh, way down this year. Way down this year. All right. Let me get the. I unfortunately.
That is a good point, though.
But yes, in a real. Oh, sorry. Yeah, in a real world, yeah, it would. Yeah. Not to stomp on your point there, Bob. But yeah, like.
Oh, we really are going mayhem order here. All right.
Yeah, it is mayhem order. Yeah, we are back to the Echo. What are my notes on this? I have some notes on this. Give me a real quick up here. There we go. So Amazon's changing a thing. So before you could have said, please do not, on not all of the devices, but on some of them, if you go to the account settings in your really crappily designed app, because I used to have this app a long time ago, I'm sure it didn't get better because Amazon doesn't care. It was, you don't send voice recordings to Amazon for processing. And now, because Amazon wants to use LLMs and GPTs to give you bad information and not actually give you what you need, they're removing that at the end of the week. So if you had that set, you don't have a choice. And they claim that only 0.03% of users utilize the do not send voice recordings. Now, I might be able to believe that because it's an infuriatingly horrible app. The design sucks and it's hard to get to this particular feature. So might be true, but only because they made it's a very hostile user-facing app. Is just terrible. But this is bad because just for the sake of using AI I'm going to respect Todd on this one. Just for the sake of using LLMs and GPTs, because it ain't AI, to do stuff, they have to take that back into processing there, because these are all really weak boxes, like they suck. So they're doing that to do something that you probably don't even want them to do. And they're doing it in a different way, because I also do not believe that Amazon will do anything close to what Apple has claimed to have done. I know people that work there and have validated that Apple's whole privacy-centric processing of these things on their infrastructure is what it does, what it says on the tin. Amazon, I don't believe for a second that they'll be that careful about this. So, like, the question I wanted to start asking everybody with, and like, Kimber, like, I feel bad because like it does suck to be in a place where you don't want to be talking around an assistant, but you're there. But like, what if right now, like, so on Saturday, if you go to someone's house or you go to like a party or whatever, and there's Echo devices around, do you like, please unplug those, because I do not, because right now that means every single thing that is said is being sent to Amazon. Every single voice utterance in your house is going to Amazon. That's my firm belief that that's what's happening now. So are you guys comfortable going to people's houses that have Echo devices?
So I don't know. I want to focus on like what is the ground truth of like this situation, and like the important thing to note is that it's trying to bolster, like this Wired article says it's trying to bolster Alexa Plus, the new subscription assistant. So does that mean that you have to get Alexa Plus to even have the option to do not send voice recordings? Because that's pretty crappy if you have to have a more advanced subscription to be able to select that option. But also, if you have something for free, quote unquote, remember that you're the product. Your data is the product and the benefit there. So I do have friends that use Alexas and use them very heavily. And like I said, like there's an Alexa in almost every kid's room that I know, which is really strange, like to tell bedtime stories and stuff like that. So it seems to me like there's no good way out of this. And it's kind of like using Instagram. Like people just aren't going to care. And that's a new way of life now. And that's kind of strange. It's not for me, Bob. It's not for me. But I'm not going to tell someone to unplug their Alexa because your phone's listening all the time anyway.
So I will say, I think you have a duty of care when people come to your house. Say, hey, my house is being surveilled all of the time. Just FYI, don't, commit crimes here. Because, like, I'll tell you what, I get uncomfortable when I go to a friend's house and they have a Nest camera, because I know that they share data with cops.
Same.
Don't like it. Don't like being able to like pin down my location at a time and place in a way that I can't just like not do,
That is one that I give people shit for actively. You're right. Like, want to help crime? Yeah, I do.
Because it doesn't matter if you're actually committing crimes or not. It's just like with any mountain of data, you can prove anyone did anything. It's all very Kafka-esque. and so if I know, all I need to do is know, like, right, is that like, oh, it's being surveilled. I know that Amazon is picking up every word, more or less. And if something goes down while I'm there or while I'm not there, then I should be aware of that, right, as the choice. And so you start picking which friends' houses you go over to. I've heard today that I don't go to Kimber's or Glenn's house ever.
I mean, like, that they do state that they're doing it because of generative AI. So we're seeing these big giant companies admit to us that you have to forego your privacy if you want the fancy AI features, which nobody actually wants at this point, right?
Well, and the 0.03% who like actually opt out, I mean, I'm with you 1,000% on that, Bob, where it's like, oh, only 0.03% of users were able to penetrate our dark patterns to figure out how to turn this off. So clearly they didn't want it hard enough.
Well, and it goes back to like once it works, it's done. So like these devices have a demographic that's a lot of older folks, like maybe FaceTiming with grandma and stuff like that. So like once it works, it's done with, right? So grandma's not going to go in and figure out how to like not leak her knitting secrets or whatever. But I did like Kimber, you mentioned like about, do you have to pay to opt out? And from my understanding, you can't opt out. Like you're paying for the AI IO, but the opt out is just not possible because of the AI outsourcing of the processing.
Which is kind of a terrifying precedent, right? Like, privacy
also
is super dead with AI.
Also, what I really hate, I mean, there's a lot in this story, but it says on March 28th, the folks that have that disabled, it will become enabled.
Yeah.
Whereas it should just be the folks that have that enabled, it should just stop working until they choose differently. I think that's one of the more egregious parts of this whole situation.
And I would say, hopefully people just sue the crap out of Amazon on this one, because it is a violation of privacy.
You mean again?
Yeah, more and more.
Because there
already was, yes.
Yeah, 2020. So 2 years ago, they had to pay $25 million over the storing of recordings of children's interactions with Alexa.
Yeah,
so
that's right, because of COPA. Whew, good thing we have COPA on the books.
Ooh.
Here's what they have to do. Here's what all
Kelly.
these Echo devices have to do. All they have to do is just emit a tone once a minute that they're recording. That'll be fine.
Gosh. Or the Zoom, like, this is being recorded.
Right. But you have to do it like periodically because you don't know who's shown up since.
I wish that was an actual regulation, that things that we're recording would have to like actually tell you that they're recording, like just flash some little like, I am sending your voice recordings to the cloud right now, would be really helpful.
I know, and like the iPhone, right? Like the fact that the microphone or the camera are on is extremely difficult to block. It's like you have to get like basically kernel level access on that device to stop that light from coming on. And no one else seems to care.
Yeah. Well, people need to care more about privacy in general.
People sell
and I want to build
$1 a year. It's fine.
I want to build off of two things that Kimber said, because Kimber said two really, really, she always says really good things, two really, really good things. So the one is they are like, so like, we don't know, we don't have complete proof, but I'll bet if I were to dig into a trash pile, or like my daughter threw out all their stuff when I told them this news last week, I didn't throw them out, it's in a box, I get one and bring it here. I want to see if they're actually how often there are transmitting recordings out to like Amazon headquarters, because there's a problem with the LLM GPT like overlords right now, where they need more training data. So one reason for doing all this slurping up of your audio is for training data. Like that's a legit thing, and I believe it will always record just so they always have training data, that they new training data to go onto there. The second thing, though, by always recording, and who knows how long they're storing for, but Amazon has more storage than God, so like they can store for everything forever. We happen to live in a time where like this Amazon itself, especially it being a US based corporation, and all a good chunk of their servers are in the US. There's a certain entity in the US, a big one, like the US, that can just say, give us all that stuff, and they're going to bend over backwards because they don't care about you and me and everybody else. So there's the privacy thing is actually more dire than I believe it ever has been before with this. So my advice is to just go to Best Buy and recycle these things, because I think it's unethical if you try to sell them, because the person receiving them, you're probably not going to spend as much time as we just did boring you about like how bad the situation is, and they're not going to know, because the average person has no idea this is happening.
Are you saying that this is the modern day NSA phone tap?
Yep.
I could see that.
Not cool. Very not cool. All right, let's move on to, okay, so we're doing pretty good on time today. I am donning some census gear today because, as I said, our census pals cannot make it today, but we do appreciate Hemage bringing Jeff on today, although he hasn't really contributed much. They have a cool blog, but we're going to wait for one or both of them to come back to dig into their blogs. However, we do not. So should I hit refresh? Do you guys have a recent blog? Is Patrick okay?
Patrick is on vacation, but he did post on his LinkedIn interesting comparison between EPSS version 3 versus version 4, which if you are a real vulnerability management nerd, you know about EPSS scoring. And for the uninitiated, that's basically using a distribution model to predict exploitability. And they rolled out V4 of it. Just they really went for it, and it changed some things. So if you want to be a nerd about these things, go check out Patrick's LinkedIn post, and when he comes back from vacation, maybe we'll get a cool blog about it.
Very cool.
Patrick has a lot of opinions, and that's why we love him.
It is good to have opinions, and I would say if you are blissfully unaware of EPSS. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Yes.
This is actually breaking news as well. Todd, it sounds like you were up very late, or almost very late, but your evening started later because of this. Could you? Yeah. We are showing the how to find Kubernetes Ingress Nginx controller installations on your network. And I don't believe I gave this to Ashley, so I need to give this. I will post the link out to everybody. Could you talk to us about this?
Sure. So Rob King and I over here in Run Zero land saw the news about Ingress Nginx and said, "Oh darn!" I believe Rob's exact quote was, "Oh poop." And we put together a very quick blog post on that, and then some Run Zero queries you can do to like run around your own data and find out if you have any of this exposed already. The big thing that kind of leapt out at me was there are two products in the world. One of them is called Ingress-Nginx. One of them is called Nginx-Ingress. These are not the same. And only one of them is affected by the 5 bugs discovered and disclosed by Wiz and the Kubernetes folks. It was quite a day yesterday, I guess. Like they did a bunch of pre-pitching and pre-positioning and embargoing and all that jazz. I think the CVEs are now public. Yeah, they got published last night, I think, pretty late. But yeah, I mean, it's just another day really in Run Zero land, but it was pretty fun. Someday I'll write my own queries, and once I learn how our darn product works.
This has been a fun vulnerability to try and sort out, and the disclosure of this was interesting. They did it really late in the day.
Yeah,
yesterday, like definitely after United States business hours, and then just
it was frustrating because all the news stories were popping off at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, okay, well, where'd you learn all this? Because the CVEs are in public, and there's no link to the blog, and there is a link to the blog, but it's not live yet. So like, I think the last hour, right, of this disclosure kind of went all sideways.
Yeah,
but other than that,
we weren't able to validate, I don't know, some things on our end. And that made it weird for our customers to find out information. So better coordinated disclosures, please, for these things that people think are spicy.
Kimber, you had some thoughts on
time.
You had some thoughts on names, I believe, earlier in the pre-show.
Why do we
really need to hype the whole like they chose to call it a name instead of you know,
I
not
like
actually
the
just
names.
calling it a CVE.
I'm on the opposite side of Cameron. That I like silly
like
names for things. Yeah,
You like this the
they're much
funny
more
name?
memorable than CVE numbers.
Then you must love threat actor names.
I do. I love threat actor names. I don't love vulnerability names because one, what CVE are you talking about? Oh, it turns out there's 5 here. That sucks. And then I feel like they just fed all of this into the AI, and the AI was like, nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. Because hasn't nightmare been used multiple times before?
Overused. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible. It's
So we
it's so
Print
can't-
uncreative.
Nightmare.
Can we
That's
pick
the only one I can
another
think of at the
thing
moment.
to
It
throw
was
onto
print.
the
You said Print Nightmare, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Print
that's the
Nightmare?
only one I can think of.
So I'm just
Nightmare on
drinking
Elm
a lot of
Street.
Haterade today. I'm sorry.
Cool. All right, we are going to continue the trudge on, and I don't have the one link up that I wanted to put up, so I am unfortunately going. I guess it was this one here. Did we have our blog up? I'm showing this about the Tomcat RC. There was another vendor, and I just don't have the link up handy. If Overwatch might put it in the thing on there, so I might get it if I do that. This is an interesting one because Tomcat's in everything still. Like, please just get off of Java already. There's like such cooler tech out there, and I know you can't upgrade that easily, but whatever. Forgetting our blog for a second, the one thing that is neat about this is there's a thing where like the exploit is really cool. Like it's kind of like embedded in the actual payload itself. And the one vendor, they have a thing which can actually like unpack that and go see that. Not everything does that, which is why this is probably going to get through in a lot of places. But the one thing that I wanted to just clarify for our blog, and we I think we did put it after the initial release of it, the stuff that we're seeing when in Gray Noise right now is all of the POC code. It's just people slinging POC code out there because they're idiot script kiddies that don't know what they're doing. They're even changing the payload, but they're still just using the same path, and you have to have the right path to the right thing on the right equipment for this to be an actual problem. So you still have time because it's only the idiots and morons that are currently using it, at least in widespread use. But I can see this is going to be speaking of nightmares, this is probably going to be a nightmare over the year because this is just going to like go under the radar for a lot of places, and I'm not really happy about like the people still putting Tomcat and garbage out there.
Yeah, the bug is real. People do use Tomcat for things and stuff. It's a real bug. Please do fix it. We talked about it a little bit, I guess, and me and Glenn about how it doesn't look like you have to like recompile anything to get the fix right, which is unusual for Tomcat. Usually you have to recompile your applications. So for Tomcat, it's a fairly straightforward fix. I'm with you. I think there is 0% exploitation out in the world until it happens, right? Until somebody figures out it's like, oh, here's this kind of popular application that's built on Tomcat with these paths, and oops, it does store sessions in a predictable file location, and so now I can do the thing, right? But there's still a lot of like there's a lot of prerequisites to a good attack that have to happen for this to like actually pop off. So yes, fix your stuff at your normal patch cadence for normal Tomcat things.
Yeah, attempts are being made, which means there's interest. There's, the only reason it's not working right now is because people haven't spent the extra moments to make it work. But attempts are being made, so
as clumsy as they may be.
yeah. They're wobbling the doorknob. They're jiggling the doorknob.
And before I go to the next 2 Gray Noise things, Morris and I did do a webinar yesterday on the report, the mass exploitation report that we published this year, because we promised we wouldn't bother you all on Stormwatch about it. You could just go to our site to resources, get the link, and you can get a recording of it, or just hit me up and we'll make sure you get access to the recording too. This week, we have another installment of Gray Noise University Live. So if you want to learn more about our platform, our product, or whatever, please go hit that up. They do a really good job. It isn't like boring. They're fun. This is a fun thing. And it's like, before I say word RSA, like we keep promising that we're all going to talk about our RSA stuff. Both Vulncheck and Run Zero are at RSA. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Booths or no booths, or just doing like ExpoCon, or like what you doing?
No booths, just
no booth. I'm couch surfing on Gray Noise's booth.
Yeah, come to our booth. Oh my gosh, this will be like this will be the best booth at RSA. Oh, this is yeah, you guys gotta come. Yeah, absolutely.
I will definitely
Yeah, we're
swing by
doing-
there. I do want to do like expo floor stuff. Like I'm in the mood to, get a lot of hype thrown at me. And so it should be fun. I'll be at B-Sides San Francisco earlier though, too.
Can you do like
We'll
a
have,
short
we have
like,
a couple
like,
talks I think at B-Sides SF.
like can you record like a segment for this as you're walking through the thing, like a little Stormwatch like live reporting segment?
Reporting live from
Stormwatch on the streets.
Yeah.
Ron will be
what voice assistants they use. No, all voice
our principal researcher. Ron will be at at B-Sides the weekend before, running a CTF that he's been
really
on,
cool that we've had the privilege of watching Ron build this, or is that, or no, that's for the Canada one, isn't it, or is that for this? I keep forgetting.
Both, but they're
Okay,
different CTFs.
Yeah, and like Ron does such a great job, like so much attention to detail. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. So you're gonna love that. We're doing Noise Fest at RSA this year instead of Black Hat DEF CON. So this is the place to go if you want to be festering. I guess I don't know.
Festering.
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know.
They were.
I don't know what I'm doing. Oh,
Yeah,
we're doing Noise Fest at Black Hat and Def. Wow, twice too. Wow. This is a good Grey Noise year.
2 Noise Fests a year.
We're turning up the noise fest.
I mean, this is all provided the nuclear codes that get sent over Signal, and then everything goes tech.
Oh.
Anyway, I know I'm working on it. I'm trying real hard.
I need a button that lets me mute Bob.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there it is. Actually,
You do. You have that power. Go ahead, do it.
Yeah. So peaceful.
New tool unlocked.
New powers unlocked. All right.
We are doing something at RSA. I need
What you
to
doing?
verify details so I can hype it on the pod. I unfortunately have life things going on that week, I found out. So
Positive.
Yeah.
positive life.
You make it sound.
I also feel compelled to coerce now because I'm going to say, thank you, whoever did that. I'm going to coerce all of you that it's April 1st next. Our next show is April 1st.
No.
That kind of puts us on that kind of puts us on the hook.
Yes. We will.
Nope.
Puts us on the hook.
We are not going to maliciously lie to the audience.
Oh no. But we gotta do something.
But I want to put it out there right now. You don't like
no lies. yeah, no. But we gotta do something.
May do something silly.
Actually, we don't have to do lies. We'll just do the news. Sorry. I'll mute myself.
Right, well, that's good. So yeah, obviously, like we have been talking about this for literally the past 3 weeks, and we just haven't settled on anything yet. So hopefully, we'll have something really, really good next Tuesday for that. All right, very cool. Well, that is a wrap on our Cyber Symphony. Remember, folks, while OpenAI might not be under attack, your IoT devices could be singing their swan song soon. Don't let Amazon echo your every word to the cloud, and keep your Veeam backup from becoming. Oh, we didn't talk about the Veeam thing. Hackers Playground. Sorry about that. As for Tomcat, one put request might just be the catalyst for a catastrophe. Stay sharp, stay secure, and we will catch you on the flip side of the firewall.
Bye.